stay in this complete peace that I have instead. So again, so this is what we have. So God's angels surround his children, just surround us. I want to ask you to write down this other verse as well, and I tell you how when I've been starting to confess this more, when you start talking about some of these, I don't know if you all saw the news with the middle schools finding the gun and all this other stuff going on, and this image is wonderful for me, and I appreciate that and love this verse. I want to go back and ask that you would add in your confessions Psalm 103, verse 20. Psalm 103, verse 20. So the question is, since, and in fact, I want us to do two things. If we can go back and turn with me now to Hebrews chapter 1, and then I want to come, connect this back to Psalm 103. Go with me to Hebrews chapter 1. And let's read the last verse there in Hebrews chapter 1. Let's read Hebrews chapter 1, verse 14. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 14. Now, see, back in the day, a few years ago, all you hear was now you're back into the smartphones and everything. Praise God for batteries. Oh. So Hebrews chapter 1, verse 14. Now, if you have that in the, let me see, what translation y'all pull up on your smartphones?
We have so many to pull up.
Yeah, really. I'll give you like 40 of them.
I got King James.
King James. Okay, let's read King James from Hebrews chapter 1, verse 14. And it's talking really here about the role of angels. That's what it's really talking about. That's what it's, okay, so let's read from Hebrews chapter 1, verse 14, please.
Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation?
Who is the they they're talking about? It's always look at it in the context. So who is verse 13 referring to? What does it say in verse 13? If you look in the King James, the sixth word in verse 13. Angels. So it's talking about, so it says in verse 13, but to which of these angels. So that's the context, that's what we're talking about. So then are they being angels, not all ministering spirits. What's the point of them? Doing what? Sent to do what? Minister. What's minister mean? Serve. Serve who? Who? Serve those who are what?
Heirs.
Heirs of what?
Salvation.
So to believers, folk who are saved. So angels' role is to do what? Serve us. So if they are all around and they're not serving us, what's happening? They're not serving us then? Or let me ask the question another way. What is necessary to happen from our end for these ministering angels to serve us? Crying? What's if they're ready to serve, ready to use the authority that when a tree wanted to hit our house, ready to serve, and we keep them bound. What releases the angels to serve us?
Us.
So now this is my question. What releases, if they imagine for example, all around, these angels around here, all around here, and so Sister Leslie brought her 100 angels in with her. They just ready, and she's like, well, and they just ready, but they got to be released to do it. So now let's go back and read Psalm 103, verse 20, to see how we're able to release them, because they're supposed to be serving us. They were created to serve us. So now what's happening? That the angels that have been on assignment to serve us, there's something we have to end up doing to allow that to occur. All right, so Psalm 103, verse 20, if you read that from King James, please.
Bless the Lord, ye his angels, that excel in strength, that do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of his word.
So what does it mean we have to do then? So what must we do to release the angels to serve us according to this verse?
Speak the word.
Speak the word. Speak the word. I now again, to get out of discouragement, I have courage in the word. And not just reading the word and meditating the word, but when I speak the word, in turn, I'm authorizing them to act on our behalf. So what do we say? So we just spent, 2 weeks ago, we talked about, according to the authority that we now have, according to this verse, we now rebuke this and also release this. And now receive this. Because what's happening? We release, angels are waiting to hear the word of God to go into action. Waiting. And so this imagery here, I actually love this little imagery right here, this surrounding us, And so oftentimes we think our tears are moving them, and God is not insensitive to our crying at all. It is the word. They're listening. You remember what happened years ago? What happened if you played that game Simon Says years ago? What did you have to do?
Do what Simon says.
Yeah. So what if you did something Simon didn't say? You sat down, got kicked out, something. But everybody was listening for Simon Says. Simon Says released us to go back in. And so what has happened? We are saying things that are contrary to the word, or not consistent with the word. It is the word that releases the angels to act on our behalf. I want to give us one other verse from this section again, this wonderful portion of scripture that we have here as well. And I want to take a look at just verse 5 here from our text. Ephraim between Ramah and Bethel. That's from verse 5 there of Judges. That'll be our last one to take a look at tonight. So I want to go back and so we have, so what is it saying? What's happened here? Where Deborah was judging, that is, people coming to have her settle disputes, ended up being in Ephraim between Ramah and Bethel. Ramah and Bethel. What's that to do with that thing? All right, so let's take a look at what we have here. First of all, Ephraim means I am twice fruitful. Twice fruitful. I love that. I'm twice fruitful. Ephraim. I'm twice fruitful. Okay, so a believer should never accept that we are lacking because we're twice fruitful. A believer should never accept lack because we are twice fruitful. A believer should never accept lack. So what happened? I'm not saying we don't see it. We don't accept it because we know right here. What is it? We're what?
Twice.
Not just fruitful.
Twice.
So if I need it, and my wife just does a wonderful job. We have a little salad every night and everything, in addition to the real meal. We have a little salad on the side there and puts in a tomato. So if we have one tomato there and they cover the salad, I know if I'm twice, there's at least another if I want some more tomato. I now have access to what's prosperity? Having more than enough to do God's will. More than enough to do God's will. So what's Ephraim mean again?
Twice.
All right, so then we talk about, so Ephraim, twice fruitful. Ramah, let's look at what Ramah means, high and lofty. Now let's just take a look at this for just a moment. High and lofty. Would you please turn with me over to Colossians chapter 3. Colossians chapter 3. I want you to keep in mind what it talks about here, about high and lofty. Colossians chapter 3. Now, I only want to focus right now. I mean, there are many ones we can talk about. I just want to look at this verse, maybe verses 1 and 2. Certainly verse 1, but maybe verses 1 and 2. Colossians chapter 3. Now, Colossians was written, as you recall, to this group of people called Gnostics, who trusted more in matter, physical world, than the spiritual world. It's the same group that was addressed over in 1 John chapter 1. If you confess your sins, he's faithful and just to forgive your sins. So these Gnostics were really focusing more, like their deal was, the more knowledge you had, the closer you were to God. Paul was like, oh, no. It's your relationship with Jesus that gets you close to God, all right? So let's read, if you would, if you have actually 1 and 2, if you would, from. So again, remember, what's Ramah mean again? Right. Okay. Now, with that having been said, let's read if you would, Colossians 3, 1 and 2, please.
Verse 1. If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ is seated on the right hand of God. Set your affections on things above, not on things on the earth.
Now, a more accurate rendering of what the Greek says right there is not if you have been raised, it is since you have been raised. Since you have been raised with Christ, do what?
Seek those things.
Okay. So think about this now. So what does that mean? So high and low. So imagine this book. Imagine all our problems are down here. Where are we supposed to be? Here are all our problems here. And what's our outlook? Are we down there with them?
No.
Where are we?
High.
High. We had this slide 2 weeks ago to talk about that. We soar high above our problems. So what does that mean? Is so often we get so overwhelmed with things that come in, we allow the problems to pull us down to them, rather than realize we have been raised with Christ. We've been raised with Christ. So since we have been raised with Christ, let me now seek his word. What does his word have to say about this? Let me seek those things which are above. Let me not go back in and seek about how he's going to tolerate this, but celebrate his word. So we have, first of all, for this last verse, so she's judging in Ephraim, I'm twice fruitful, between Ramah and Bethel. So what's Iiii always mean in the Bible? Iiii, God. So Bethel means house of God. House of God. Let's put this all together that we have here. So let's put this all together. So she now, the reason that she recognizes that she is twice blessed is because she already recognizes here that she has high and lofty based on what she learned in the house of God. That there ought to be some revelation that comes when we come to the house of the Word, the house of the Lord, to learn how to make it in life and be victorious. Shouldn't be coming here to leave beaten down and already beat down, but we leave here, recognize we are high and lofty, and now what does it say again? We learned we are high and lofty and twice blessed in the house of God. So what has happened? So she is judging in a place now. So she's able, now, and we get ready to close on this. Here is a woman who is the judge and the prophet at a time when no other judge was a woman. A woman who now leads a nation to battle. This woman is walking in such anointing. Now remember now, women at this point, you're talking about second class, I mean, if Hillary would have run back in this day, she wouldn't even gotten close, she wouldn't even gotten the nomination. So the idea, so women were just viewed so low. But here she is as a judge and a prophet, not allowing her circumstances to define her, not allowing her gender to reduce her. She's now recognizing that I now am I'm twice fruitful, and I'm high and lofty because I've learned this all in the house of God. So now when everybody else around her is discouraged, she rises up. It says right now that the villagers in some translations wouldn't even leave from where they were. She now rises up, a mother in Israel, and gets victory. So what are we saying here? So I want to make sure as we finish this whole point, we are first of all surrounded and enclosed in a place of complete and perfect peace. Because God understands all the stuff we're going through. Now we learn from the house of God that we are now twice fruitful. And that we now, in addition to that, we now are high and lofty. So what am I saying? That when problems come up, let's not go back down to the valley again. Let's be reminded, I'm raised with Christ. What did Galatians 3:1 say? Since I have been raised with Christ, seek those things which are above. Complete peace over here, perfect peace. Now, how do I get my perfect peace again? Because I trust in God, I'm going to do what? My mind is going to be where? Stayed on Him. And as a result of trusting Him and my mind stayed on Him, what's going to happen? I'm going to have perfect peace. And now when problems come up, I'm reminded I'm still raised. I'm still raised. I'm still high.